Hello guys, welcome to my channel Miss Recap. Today I'm going to explain 2022 action-adventure family movie called The King's Daughter. A young woman is seen snorkeling and swimming in the ocean. After seeing what she was doing, the nuns forbade her to continue in that manner. They are also making an effort to stop her. The name of this young lady is mentioned here. Mary is her name, and she spends every day of her life participating in such pointless activities. So she also gets punishment. Actually, Mary is the daughter of the French king named Louis. Mary's father Louis was a self-obsessed man. He himself did not bring his daughter up, but gave her to a priest. So nuns used to take care of her from that time. After it, the city's site is shown, where King Louis returned back to France after winning a great war. A man sent by his rival shoots him with a gun in a victory celebration. King Louis is confirmed on this. No matter how much power he gains, but he will remain a human being. As a human, he is also mortal. But King's physician says to him, "You will have to catch mermaid to get immortality." He says, "I can make you immortal with the power of mermaid." So King dispatches his special fisherman amid of the ocean to catch the mermaid. And this fisherman's captain name is Eves. He becomes successful to capture a couple of mermaid and merman, but they just wanted mermaid, so he sets merman into the sea again. He himself returns to the palace, taking that mermaid. Louis becomes so excited getting this news, but this priest remains unsatisfied on this because he was considering such act as a crime or nothing else. But nothing was affecting on Doctor. Rather, he had a belief that he will turn the king into immortal on the solar eclipse day through Mermaid's heart. Priest also asks him to carry his daughter into the palace. The king agrees with the priest, and the priest reaches there to carry Mary. Going there, he comes to know that Mary is a best musician. Priest brings Mary into the palace later. It is the first time that she has glimpsed palace, so she was so shocked and happy seeing all. But King Louis still remains its secret before the world as Mary in his bloodline. So priest sends Mary into a small room with a maid. Mary's maid is making her a visit of the whole palace there. Everyone was watching Mary with the doubtful eyes. Some people were also laughing at her because she was a stranger at this time. She had come here as a guest, and no one had knowledge why she was brought into the king's palace. Mary is observing the fountain, going near to this. Meanwhile, King Louis comes there. Being confused, Mary falls into the water as a king's daughter, so the king makes her put on his coat. Then that Captain Eves is seen, who reaches the palace taking that mermaid, and King was becoming so lunatic of being immortal. He only hears the words of the doctor, not the priest. He only thinks the doctor's advice is best. Afterwards, when King goes to see Mermaid, then he knows that Mermaid's condition is worst, because she was so frightened and confused. Neither she was taking food nor coming on the surface of the water. Then that doctor tells it is compulsory for this mermaid to stay alive till the solar eclipse. Otherwise, it will never be happened what we are wanting. We will never be able to fulfill our mission. They will have to make mermaid eat something in some way while keeping her alive. Louis threatens the doctor saying, "You will take care of the mermaid, otherwise you will face the dire circumstances." Mary is seen in the room who is practicing music, but she feels as someone is calling her to him through a voice, so she begins to chase that voice. Following the voice, she reaches that cave where they had imprisoned the mermaid. That mermaid comes outside seeing Mary. Mary tries to talk with Mermaid. At the same time, the fisherman Captain Eves, and he shows his anger on Mary too much. He asks him, "Why did you come here and how? Don't move to Mermaid." Then Mary declares that, "I don't come here according to my will, but Mermaid herself has called me here, hearing the sound of my music." Captain Eves is left astonished hearing her. Next day it is seen when Mary is playing the same music. Then that music is also liked so much by Louis, so he commands priests bring Mary quickly in the palace hall. All people are staring at her when Mary is brought into the palace. Now King Louis is also staring at her daughter. He still does not expose before the people that Mary is my daughter. Later, he begins to teach her dancing. Then he starts seeing his wife in the face of her daughter. Observing this, King Louis is so shocked and stopped. It is seen later that Mary used to spend much of her time with Mermaid. Due to this, Mermaid's health condition is also restored now. During this time, Mary and Captain Eves becomes friends. They develop intimacy. One day, Doctor observes all, so he starts his further planning. Louis accompanies her daughter to the same garden, where he used to draw the sketches of his wife or Mary's mother. Now Louis was also trying to understand her, spending much time with his daughter. This is also a guest in King's palace who was a great businessman of France. Now King helps that guest and owns his father's property to him. That guest glimpses Mary when the king is proclaiming it before everyone. But Mary was looking at Eves. Then that guest feels so envious. He dislikes this at all that Mary has started to like Eves. It is known here that guest had also liking for Mary. So a controversy is started between that guest and Eves at night. Then Mary is seen who comes back to the mermaid again. At this time, she also touches the mermaid, moving into the water. Mermaid had also liking for Mary, and she had a trust on her that she can't harm at any cost. Meanwhile, Eves also approaches there. He stops Mary of doing this because it may prove so harmful for her. But Mary does not come out of the water ignoring him. But Eves brings Mary out of the water forcefully. Mary goes outside with Eves on the coming day riding on a horse. They are racing in the forest. Suddenly, Mary gets wounded while falling down from horse, and her one of the arms is badly fractured. Doctor suggests after diagnosing the problem of the arm, we will have dissect her arm. But Mary is so disturbed, so she did not want to do as such, because he has belief in God that he will reform her, and he will never let her afflict. So Louis states to the doctor, you will not do as such right now. You will have to wait till night. Mermaid is seen at night who wants to talk with Eves, and she requests to bring Mary to her. And Eves also understands her, what she is wanting to say, and he also does the same. He immediately brings Mary to the mermaid. He sends her into the water after taking her to the mermaid. Mermaid begins to enchant Mary, swimming around Mary. As a result, Mary is fully recovered. Actually, Mermaid had the power to recover every wound. All people are left shocked on the coming day, seeing Mary fully recovered. She tells the doctor and the priest about the whole incident occurred last night. Hearing this, doctor is affirmed on his words. It means to kill the mermaid, but they all tell a lie to Mary that they have brought Mermaid to cure the diseased French people. Mary also thinks as they will release Mermaid after doing as such, later Mary knows though is that Mermaid is not brought for the French people but for King. It remains incomprehensible for Mary. Then they both start talking. Mary asks Eves, why do you hate that guest? Eves tells, because he had imprisoned me after putting a blame of theft on me. Then Eves shows a very charming side to Mary. They were creating intimacy with each other gradually. Mary says to Eves here, it is my wish that you may release that mermaid as soon as possible. King Louis is seen in the palace here, who tells the guest while calling to him that Mary is my daughter, and he asks that guest to marry Mary. Now that guest has already the affections for Mary, so he quickly agrees with this. But the priest still does not like this decision of the king. He suggests to King Louis you should ask the will of Mary at least for one time. But it doesn't affect King as Mary is willing for this marriage or not. Priest says to Louis after being aggressive, she is your daughter. You should not be so self-obsessed because this action may make you a good king, but not a good human being. On the other side, Mary again goes to meet Mermaid, and Mermaid makes her swim in the water, letting her sit on her. Mary enjoys a lot through this. When Mary comes out of the water, then King Louis calls her to him, where he reveals her the secret that you are my daughter. He also gives her a locket. There is a stuck photo of her mother in this. King Louis says to Mary that you resemble your mother, otherwise your nature is also same like your mother. She also never heard a command of anyone. Further, the king tells that I am self-obsessed person. In fact, your mother has died at that time when you came into life, but I could not bring you up alone. So I had left you while trusting the priest, because I could not manage this kingdom with you. Furthermore, he conveys that France's financial situation is currently precarious. If I get you married with that guest, then his all money will be got by us. Mary's heart is broken hearing this. Being angry with her father, she leaves away. But the angry attitude of Mary was not affecting Louis even to an extent. Mary leaves that place while weeping. Contrarily, the priest is seen who goes to the mermaid. He was disliking the injustice and the cruelty occurring with the mermaid. So he attempts to explain the doctor moving to him, but the doctor was possessed, so he does not focus on his single word. He gets him out of that place, saying ill for him. Mary is seen there who is trying to escape from her room. But King Louis had assigned the guards at her doorstep to keep an eye on her. So she goes to meet Mermaid through the window, where Mermaid shows her the pastime with his power of showing visions. How did Eves had caught her and her family? But Mary notices during this time that Eves is good by heart, and he was not acting as such according to his will, but under the compulsion. Now priest worries seeing this, as King Louis is losing his senses for being immortal. So he tries to explain the king when king does not give an ear to the priest, then priest moves away leaving this job. On the other side, Eves with his friend was trying to know about the plan of the doctor because he had also no knowledge what the doctor is going to do with this mermaid. When Eves knows that it is the part of doctor's plan to kill that mermaid, then he goes near Mary's room to inform her. But the doctor captures him coming there and he also imprisons him. When Mary returns to her room, then she receives the message of Eve's tear, and the whole secret is also exposed before her. She becomes so aggressive that she quickly moves to her father, King Louis. But Louis had turned into a beast from the human being, and he has no care of anyone. He only cared himself as he may remain the king of France forever after being immortal. So he sends Mary to get ready for the marriage. When Eves knows that Mary's marriage is going to be held, then he thinks there is perhaps the will of Mary in this, so he decides to carry out the command of the king now. Contrarily, priest moves to Mary's room and gets ready to help her. Priest says to Mary, "You will have to move outside, wearing the bridal dress." Initiating action on the part of Mary, he makes Mary free, avoiding her from the soldiers. Now Mary reaches Mermaid while running. But reaching there, she notices that Eves is trying to bring the mermaid out of the water. Mary expresses herself to Eves, "I have liking for you." She says, "We will both marry later if I release mermaid from here at once. After this we will spend the same life which we have dreamed." Eves orders his companions, hearing this, get ready the ship. He himself begins to plan to bring Mermaid to the other side of the bridge. It means where Mermaid moves into the water easily. But it was not a child's play. Doctor detects about the escaping of Mermaid. For this, he reaches the cave and his fight is held with Eves. Reaching there, Eves receives a gunshot during the fight. Mary begins to cooperate with Doctor in fight while saying to Mermaid to run with Eves. She hangs Doctor while tying him with ropes. For this, Mermaid also runs away, taking Eves. Mary also moves away, riding on the horse. King Louis is seen in the palace, who was waiting for Mary's wedding in the palace. Then he knows that Mary has fled, so he quickly runs away with his soldier in search of Mary. Mermaid also recovers Eves properly on the way, in the same way as she had recovered Mary before. After this, Mary climbs up a high mountain. She is going to jump from there, then King Louis with his soldiers instantly reaches there. He forbids Mary of doing so. He also tries to stop her. Then Mary notices Eves and Mermaid jumping into the sea. Mary places an option before her father here, that you will have to choose one, either Mermaid or your daughter. I will jump into the water from here. Later Mermaid will recover me. You will also lose your daughter if you kill that mermaid. Mary jumps into the water here. King's soldiers had seated while targeting the mermaid here. But the king's conscience is awakened now. He changes his decision and stops his soldier with gesture. The mermaid moves to Mary, noticing the safe zone, and she recovers her with her magic so soon. Mary and Eve board the ship as Mary is recovered. The king was also observing both standing on the top of the mountain there. Then it is seen that they both are amid of the sea to release Mermaid. Mary jumps into the water there, where she meets with Mermaid and her family. Mermaid again swims the whole sea, making her sit on her back. It is observed here that Mermaid Sea World is so charming here. Mary is enjoying a lot of the swimming of the sea. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching. If you like it, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel.